Hello there. As I make this video, it's a brand new year. And with the new year comes new starts and new projects. I also want to do some planning and think about the projects that I want to work on this year, or at least some of the ideas that I would like to tackle possibly. But since I'm talking about new beginnings, if you are new to collage or new to glue books and art journaling in general, in today's video, I want to talk about some basic supplies that you may be interested in having. And I'm also going to share some assignments, collage art assignments, to help you get started with collage. Lastly, I'm going to show you how I'm going to keep track of some of my project ideas so I don't forget about some of my goals. I've also got some free downloads for you and info on an upcoming free workshop. We've got a lot to cover, so in the description I will label the sections of this video so that you can go back and find whatever information you are looking for later. So now let's talk about art supplies. What do you need for collage, for doing art journals in general? So I made this handy dandy little list. It's a printout. It's free. You can access it in the description below. Print it out if you'd like, or if you just want to glance it over to follow along, that is completely fine. On the left side, I've got my supplies, and on the right side is this space where you can keep notes for what you need and what you want to use it for. So here's my list of categories: papers, cutting tools, adhesives, adding dimension and texture, embellishments, and where to find some image sources. First, I want to talk about papers, and there are two parts to this. The first is surface or substrate, so what you are going to be doing your art on. In the case of journals, you can buy a brand new journal, and here's an example of one that I just purchased in a store at a shop, and then I turned it into whatever kind of art journal that I wanted. Another thing you can do is, if you already have papers, is to gather a bunch of papers in relatively the same size, punch holes in it, and then bind them with some rings. This is a super easy thing that you can do, and it's accessible to most people. The neat thing is that you can find the papers that are interesting to you. In some cases, I have some old postcards that I use, or just scraps of different kinds of empty blank papers. Now, regarding general collage papers, I have a second download for you. This one is ideas of where to find ordinary paper scraps. So I'm not going to go through the whole list now. That's the purpose of this download. They are things like stuff that you find in your daily life, print media, food packaging, other odds and ends, envelopes, stickers, art scraps, so on and so forth, right? So that is download number 2. Now, cutting tools. Scissors. Very straightforward here. Yes, I could go into details about the pros and cons of these perfect, great, fantastic scissors, or I could just say, if you're starting out, find scissors that you can easily get a hold of. They don't need to be fancy, they just need to work. And what I mean by work is they need to cut paper. I personally don't use scissors very often. More often, to cut and tear paper, I use a flat metal ruler. And this is a tiny one, and it's in centimeters. Usually, if you are in the US, you may find a flat metal ruler that's at least a foot long. That actually would be better. This tiny little one sometimes is not long enough for me, but I guess I need to buy one. I need to buy a longer flat metal ruler because I use this so much more than scissors. And how I use it is, look, I've got this little, even small piece of paper, and I just hold it down and then tear my paper this way. Later on, if you love doing the kind of art that you were doing, if you want to invest in a paper trimmer, those 1x Fiskars are very popular. I personally don't have one, but they look like really awesome tools. I use a rotary cutter in matte. My little rotary cutter looks like this. It's made by the brand Olfa. And I have a special healing mat where I use with this cutter and a ruler, and I just go like this and it cuts long pieces of paper. Next, adhesives. This is important, and luckily you have all kinds of choices with this. The most straightforward, easy to find is a glue stick. Very often, even a grocery store carries glue sticks, right? They are in the office supply section, which is tiny, but you'll find them. This is a very cheap glue stick. It is by Scholastic. I happen to buy this one at Office Max or Office Depot, one of those. But honestly, you can buy any kind of cheap glue stick there is. The only thing you need to look for and make sure is that it says acid free. That's the necessity. It needs to be acid free. Other than that, you're good to go. Get whatever you want. In addition to glue sticks, there are wet glues, of course. If you already have wet glues at home, feel free to experiment with them and see if they work for you. This is a craft glue. The name of the brand is Art Glitter. It's not necessarily for glitter. It's just called Art Glitter. And it says Designer Dries Clear Adhesive. This is very nice because it has a very precise point, and so it's really good for getting those little tiny corners when you need to. So this is a good recommendation. And the other thing that I find very useful is double-sided tape. This is the brand that I use, SKOR, Score brand, and it's super easy to put down your tape like this and then just tear it off like that. You don't even need scissors, see? Double-sided tape can be an additional expense, so if you don't feel like you need it in the beginning, then don't get it. Glue stick, baby. That's all you need is glue stick. All right, now things for adding dimension and texture. Now, it all depends, again, on the kind of art that you want to make. These are things that you may or may not be interested, depending on what you're going to be doing on your art pages. So they are things like paints, stencils, modeling paste, fabric scraps, and gel print plate. Those are just some suggestions that I could think of that people may possibly want to use to add dimension and texture to your pages. All right, embellishments. This is a fun one, right? Things like washi tape, stamps and ink, stickers and labels, glitter and embossing powders, and ribbon. Now, washi tape, this is a tough one. It's tough because there are so many choices out there, and it's so easy to buy because you're like, oh, maybe I'm going to use this one, or maybe I'll use this style. I cannot recommend a specific type of washi tape or specific brand or anything of that sort, just because everybody's tastes are so different. But what I can do is show you some of the ones that I find most useful, and those are these sets by Tim Holtz Ideology. I like these muted colors in more of the vintage style, of course, that's my vibe. So these have been very useful to me. I also found this just at a regular craft store with a bunch of different colors and in a solid colors. So these could be useful from time to time as well. It's all a matter of taste. That's all I can say. Stamps and ink. Wow, I have a lot of rubber stamps. I love rubber stamps. I like them mounted on wood, and so I have the ones that I use again and again, and I keep them in a special place in my art space. There's also cling stamps with acrylic mounts that you can use to apply them. That's a possibility as well. And your inks. I use Distress inks. I only have about 3 colors in these Distress inks. These are the ones that I use the most. I also have these inks by Memento, and I use these a lot. These inks are not cheap, but they last forever. I have had these two sets since 2018, and now it's what, 2025? So that's a long time for me to be using craft supplies, especially because I do use them so often. What I love about these inks is they have a point, and if you have a stamp, rubber stamp that you want to use, it's possible to actually just very carefully go in and color the parts that you want colored. There you go. So I will put links in the description for some of these items so that you have a starting off point to decide if you want to invest in something like these inks. Now lastly, for collage, you need images and papers to collage with. So some of those things can be used books, used magazines, printed ephemera like old tickets, maps, receipts, labels. There's online resources, of course, copyright-free images, or if you want to purchase and download some printables, you can do that. On Etsy, there's a ton. And then don't forget, you can incorporate your own photography and photos that you may already have. All right, if you are working on an art journal and you want to fill up the pages, one of the things you can do is collage. But what if you're new with collage? What if you don't know where to start or how to break a blank page? This is where Collage Weekly Assignments will help you. Imagine you're given an assignment of looking for very specific papers that you're going to use in a collage. Let's take a look at this example. So you're looking for a historical figure or an event, a decorative napkin, a magazine with bold text, a clock or timepiece, something found in the ocean or sea, and bonus is a ticket. The bonus is there just in case you can't find one of the other prompts, and then you would just switch out your bonus for that prompt. All right, so let's do this. Say that I have my little glue book that I put together of these papers. Now, find a spot where you want to collage. I'm going to say I'm going to do it right here on this one. And now start gathering your pieces. One of the great things about these assignments is that they don't need to be completed at first glance. Maybe you take time through your day or through the week to gather your papers, and yes, you collage with your hands and you put together your finished piece, but you're also using your brain a lot, and it's engaged creatively in thinking about things that you could possibly use for your collage. And it's so fun. You can really lean into this and enjoy the process of looking and hunting and finding your pieces throughout the day or throughout the week. So I have a few things to set aside already that I could possibly use. The easiest one for me to find right away was a paper napkin. I have a couple things that I have saved from over time, so I could possibly use a piece of something like this. I also have this one. A clock or a timepiece. I found an advertisement with a clock that I can tear out, so I will do that. Something found in the ocean or sea. I found these two cigarette cards. This is whitebait fish. Never heard of them, but there you go. And also a pelican can be found at the sea. I'm not sure if I want to have the paper orientation in this kind of portrait, or if I like it better in this landscape. So I have two options, so I'm going to see which one works better for me. A historical figure or event. I know that I can probably find a historical figure on a postage stamp. So look, here's Abraham Lincoln right here. I could use that. Here's George Washington. And here is Roosevelt. Those are my 3 possible examples. I may use one of those, depending on what works better in my collage. For a magazine ad with bold text, I could use something out of here, right? But I think I'm going to use the bonus, which is a ticket, because I know that I have so many different kinds of tickets that I can use. That's a little more fun for me to use the bonus instead. So I'm going to use that. Now, what else can you use in creating your collage? You can use some background paper, some pattern paper if you would like. I don't think I need any because I have such a small substrate, and I think that this will cover a lot. So I think I'm just going to go with this. So I will use scissors to cut off some of this. I guess I will just go like this. In this case, instead of putting the glue stick on the back of this, because it might tear, I am going to apply the glue to the substrate directly. So I'm just going to go like this. If I don't get all the corners in the beginning, I can always just lift up the napkin and add it on. And I will cut off the excess afterwards. So let me just get that down like this. Next, I have, what else do I have? I have one of my pieces from the ocean or the sea. I'm going to think about using. Not sure yet if I want to put that here or put this over here. I need a ticket and I need a historical figure. And oh, a clock or timepiece. That's the other one that I need. You know what? I could almost use this. If I'm going to grab this clock, let's see. Here I'm using my straight ruler. I'm just going to go like this. So maybe I will include it. I'm not sure. So does that mean that I should not use the bonus? It's up to you. I will tell you that you may interpret these assignments however you would like. There is no collage police looking over your shoulder saying, no, 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 you've already included 5 prompts. Do not add the 6th bonus. If you want to add it, go ahead. Nobody's going to say anything to you about it. So I will keep on playing around with these pieces. Here I've got this now, possibly. This maybe will go here. Here is my historic figure. Maybe I want a smaller one. Not sure. Maybe, oh, that fits nicely there. Okay. Yeah, the red is too red. The blue works better. If I have this blue, look, then I have this ticket I can put here. All right, that works. Anything else? Anything else I'm missing? Oh, my timepiece. Where do I put this timepiece? Maybe I will put it, start again with this. I'll take it down here like that. Maybe then I'll go like this. And this I will put underneath here like this. Okay, let me glue all these down and I will show you what it looks like done. All right, so the last thing I'm doing is cutting off the excess of the napkin, and here's what it looks like when it is complete. This one I used double-sided tape because it's a little bit of a thicker cardstock, and so I wanted to make sure that it stayed more secure with a double-sided tape. So hopefully you can see the benefits of doing collage assignments like this. It will help you grow your confidence for sure. And it's so nice to have an assignment once a week to work on and think about finding the pieces as it's convenient for you. Download number 3 is the first 4 assignments for 2025. They come in a set of 52, since there's 52 weeks in the year, of course. So you can download the first 4, try them out, see if you enjoy doing it or not. Every assignment has a hashtag associated with it. I think the first ones are 2025 CWP1. CWP stands for Collage Weekly Planner. I used to publish them in books, planner books that you could do 1 a week, but I'm no longer doing a print version or like a hard copy version. I'm just doing the printables where you can print out the list or write out the individual assignment and then you do them in your own glue book. Since there's a hashtag for each one of those assignments, you can look them up on Instagram, look them up on YouTube, and see what other creative people are doing with those assignments. And then when you are ready to share your own work, you can also take a photo and share, or create a video and share your assignment and how you approached it. On to planning art projects. Now, before I do get to this planning, if you are enjoying the content in this video so far, please do hit the like button so that it can spread to more people. I would personally appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's talk about how to keep track of things. So I created this little book called Art on My Mind, a guided workbook and planner for artistic exploration. The reason why I created this planner was because I would come up with ideas one day and then the next day they would be gone. I just could not remember exactly what it was that was so appealing about it when I thought about it in the first place. And I was like, I need to write things down. Our brains are great for coming up with ideas, but they're not so great as the holder of ideas. We need to put them down, right? We need to write things down. The main parts of this book are to keep track of your project ideas, your new ideas, to keep track of the projects that you are working on, and to keep track of the projects that you've completed that you want to remember that you enjoyed and that perhaps you would like to repeat the process again and do something similar again, right? In the beginning of the book, I have a section with questions to help you think about the types of art that you want to do, what sparks your artistic curiosity, as it says. The second part is keeping track of your projects, and then the last part is for record keeping. It's for your references, keeping track of your exchanges, and here's exchanges. And then your happy mail, if you're mailing things to other people, when did they go out, when is stuff coming in, and then addresses at the end. I made these books available on Amazon. I used to have my own books printed at my local printer and me mail things out, but it gets really expensive when I'm mailing to Australia or places in a different continent than my own. The good thing about printing with Amazon is that the printing takes place locally, so the shipping costs stay low. The cost for this book in the United States is $12, and shipping is going to be pretty inexpensive. So how I'm going to use it is, for example, I have this section called Works in Progress, projects you're working on that you want to keep track of. All right, so I know that I am working on, or I still have this project I'm right in the middle of. I am doing these Rolodex art cards, and I have a lot more pages that are blank that I want to fill. So this is an example of one that I want to put in here. So Rolodex art cards. Notes on progress, maybe I want to note that I'm about a third of the way through as of the date, this date. Challenges, no, I don't necessarily have any challenges, it's just more of time commitment, so I'm going to leave that blank. Ideas for future development. Here I can add something if I had an idea of a new set that I wanted to put. These ones I sometimes do by letter of the alphabet. So say that I had an idea for the letter C, I could possibly do C for currency, because I have a lot of currency that I could use in collage. Time tracker, how close are you to completing? Actually, I've already said that I'm about a third of the way through, so I'll just mark it about right there. So this way, if I have multiple open projects, I can place them in my book, and then I can just thumb through my book for when I have time that I want to devote to something that I'm enjoying doing and I'm in the middle of the process of, so that I can pick up where I've left off. What is this free online meet I mentioned earlier in the video? On February 15th, I'm going to do a online meet. You're all invited to come. And what I'm going to do in the meet is look at the questions at the beginning of this workbook about what sparked your creative journey. And I'm also going to ask some questions to get you thinking about projects that you have done in the past that you like and possibly would like to repeat and do again. So that's on February 15th. The link is in the description box to sign up. Once you are on my list, I will email you the beginning questions from this book. So that means no, you don't need to purchase the book if you don't want to. I will email you part 1 so that you can look at the questions and think about them. And also I will eventually be sending out the link to the workshop this way as well. The event will be recorded, so if you can't make it but still would like to go through these questions in an online video format, it's there for you as well. So I hope you will join me on February 15th for that. Don't forget about all the downloads. Those are in the description as well for all the things that I talked about in the video today. Let me know in the comments what projects you are excited about working on this year. And if you are new to art journaling and you need some ideas about easy art journals, how to put them together, what can you use to create an art journal, then this is a really great video for you. It's going to give you a ton of ideas and hopefully to inspire you to go ahead and get started on making your own. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you over there.